Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on the Ubuntu channel this particular evening. Apologies that we are not on screen. This is due to load shedding that we're experiencing, but all the same, the program must go on, and we must dive into the nitty gritties of what is happening in the world of politics within the country. And my name is Lawrence Mulungu, hosting you for this particular program, and we are looking at JJ's escape from lawful custody. Uh, to help me digest this program, this particular topic, I have Mukelabai on my side. Mukelabai, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Lawrence, and good evening, viewers. Good to be back.
Mhm. Good to be back. uh, we also on in that line actually apologize that we have not been with you for some time now. This has been due to unforeseen circumstances beyond our control, but the program is back and we are here. Omkelabai, first and foremost, let's look at the great escape that happened from hospital concerning JJ Banda. Uh, in general, what do you make of it?
Well, thank you. Um, Me, from the word go, from the time this young man was abducted, I mean, purported to have been abducted, I had my own doubts. The way it was handled, the way the reactions from the families and from the friends and from the members of the opposition, I felt like this was it was a sham, and it was like it was just concocted by these guys, and I never believed, and I was even making fun of JJ that he's a good actor. He needs to audition for Nollywood movies, because I did not believe, not even a single place where I thought he was truly abducted and injured and going through hospital, whatever. I felt there was something was not adding up there. The abduction, the so-called abduction, when was the person declared missing? How long does it take to declare one individual missing? And few hours later, he was found someplace elsewhere where he used to either live, or where he knows people from. And it wasn't just adding any, it wasn't making sense. And the way it was being used to propagate, to attack the ruling party, I felt like this was a move, a planned move by these guys, trying to divert our attention from serious issues, because the PF, they have serious problem within their party, and this JJ Banda issue was one way of trying to divert our attention from this, or from important matters, especially matters of national interest. And I don't even know why we should do JJ Banda this, JJ Banda that. He is, to me, you see, he is he is a delinquent, and he is not an individual that I will respect, honorable, especially looking at the background, the things he has done so far to where he is. I find his actions, or his moves, or his even position to be elected, I think as a member of parliament, I find it to be a little bit odd. And I believe the Petauke people are really missing Dora Celia, that was matured, that would uh, 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 articulate matters very well and well intelligent. And she's been to school, and now she's a doctor, by the way. And these are the things that people should now look at. Say, look, you should be careful the people that you elect into office, into this public office. So the gentleman, he may have escaped. I don't know how a person that was almost going through surgery, that was almost paralyzed, be able to escape from Sobibor, or escape from prison, from lawful custody. That is now creating a problem over a problem. And I find that to be odd as well and questionable. And I think the also government, somehow, I put the blame to the government somehow, because it's been long since they have been trying to handle these guys with baby gloves. And this is what happens when you ule angala na kanyerere kala sumanako. And this is what was happening, that they've they did not take JJ Banda's issue or this drama seriously, or treat him with a proper caution, as warned by Capeso, the former deputy IG.
Okay.
They
Uh,
underestimated him, and here we are. He is a fugitive now. We don't know where he is. And
okay.
I think,
Um, Mukelabai, I'll have to cut you short there. Let me just welcome. Let me just welcome. Uh, the first and foremost, the one, Mr. Daniel Zulu, who is just joining us for the very first time on Ubuntu channel. Mr. Daniel, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Uh, Thank you very much, Lawrence. Good evening.
Awesome. Um, kindly, before I welcome Wiseman, kindly just brief us on the organization that you actually represent.
Okay, thank you very much. As Good evening, Mukelabai and Comrade Wiseman. Uh, I'm actually the current interim CIC of Generation Lead Zambia. This is a Pan-African movement that was formed by a number of youths who felt the need for the young generation to rise up and take matters into our own hands. We understood and believed that for Zambia to develop, for Zambia to reach its full potential, it needs a new generation of minds, it needs a new generation of ideas. We cannot be solving modern problems using worn out brains or old brains. So we came together and said, what if we young people start to take keen interest in national matters? So Generation Lead Zambia is a movement. Uh, I can say political balance, like it's inclined towards politics, because we do have serving MPs, we do have serving mayors and councillors currently for the ruling party and opposition party. We have political party leaders and all those things. It's just a mix of what we call the post-independence generation, the generation that was born after independence, and the generation that is determined to see Zambia reach its full potential. So that's the brief about Generation Lead Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so I'm going to bring you into what we are looking at today. That is the great escape that happened involving the Petauke member of parliament, that is Honorable J.J. Banda. Now, from your side, what do you make in general, before we go into the nitty gritties of it? What do you make of this particular escape?
Um, they personally, I feel there are a lot of gray areas as far as this escape is concerned. A whole lot of them. Um, if he's escaped, That's a different ballgame altogether. But I always love to deal with motive. Why would he escape if he's to escape? Okay, if he's to escape, why would he escape? And when you look at the document and the reports that are out there from the police, you hear that he jumped off a window 4 meters high. I don't know how possible that is for a person that just underwent a surgery to jump 4 meters high and escape five guards that were on his side. You know, there are a whole lot of gray areas as far as the escape itself is concerned. And I wouldn't delve much into the idea of trying to break and analyze what could have happened because who knows, I might be the next victim. But all in all, there's a whole lot happening with regards to JJ and the current administration and how things have been handled politically. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And finally, we have Mr. Wiseman back with us. Mr. Wiseman, thank you so much for being with us this night. I also ask you in general what your views are on this great escape.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lawrence. Thank you very much, Mukelabai. Thank you, Mr. Zulu. Thank you for our viewers. Comrade, I think for me, without even wasting much of the time and bundles of people, there is no escape there. Sometimes when you want to have a wisdom of monopoly, you end up messing up things. Sometimes it's very wise even to listen to people who are outside the Pandora box when they are advising than you only listening to people who are surrounding you. We told the president immediately he won elections. Can you do what Sata did? Can you fire the whole system and put your people? UPND has never employed police officers. The dog only pay loyalty to that who feeds the dog. Even if you buy the dog today, comrade, and you stop giving it food, your neighbor start feeding that dog will go against you. JJ never escaped from the window. JJ just came out clean. If you have seen the way that report was being written, how could a wife of JJ Banda ask for a permission for the police to excuse them and have privacy between the family as they wanted to treat JJ? The police were asked to say, can you go out? We want to put this person in sort order so that he can get treatment. The police went out. Then the police called back to say, we are done. When the police came in, they found the person is nowhere to be seen. Then, now the nation knows about that, the first people to put in cells, the police. Why? The best person to put in cells was the wife of JJ Banda to say, we left you with your husband. Where is your husband? To make matters worse, they allow even the propagandist machine of the PF to say JJ Banda has been taken somewhere. By who? Is it the state who asked for the excuse for the family to excuse the state, or it was the family who asked the state to excuse the family? Who remained with JJ? There is nothing about escapee there, comrade. These are internal things. These are what we call inside the job under layman's language. So the people to put under task are the wife, those police officers, and the entire system of that hospital. Even themselves, the system, comrade, they were a bit weak. There is no way Maina Soko, one of the biggest hospital in Zambia, certified you to be fit, then taken to a court session, then from nowhere, illness has come back. Then you see to decide which hospital you have to be taken. No, for me, in a nutshell, there is no escapee. That's an inside job, comrade. Thank you.
Okay, just a reminder to our viewers that you too can share what you think by commenting on whatever social media platform you are watching us from, and we will be glad to uh, share your thoughts and read out your comments as we go. Probably, if you have questions to ask anyone from the panel, please feel free, and we shall ensure that they receive those particular questions. Now, Mukelabai, I'm coming back to you. Never in the history of this country have we had this number of people leaving the country because of running away from certain crimes. We have Chilufya Tayali out of the country right now. We have Kaiza Zulu out of the country now. And the only way, if really there's an escape here, you can you can also assume that probably he is headed out of the country as well. What is happening? Before you get to answer, let me welcome the lady of the house, that is Himba. Himba, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Lawrence, and good evening, viewers. Good evening, Mukelabai. Good evening, Wawizi. Good evening, Mr. Zulu. It's nice to join the team.
Thank you,
Good
thank you
evening.
so much. Mukelabai, I hope you got the question I asked.
Yes, I got it. That goes to show that your system or our system, the so-called intelligence or the so-called police officers, are compromised. And hence the statement from Wiseman to say, you remember he gave an example of a dog. So we shouldn't have this in the first place. But unfortunately, it's happening. And many of these arrests that we see today, they are connected to, political persecution. But at the same time, these are legitimate cases that are in court, and because the people involved at one point were in authority, at one point they thought they can never be touched. They were considered themselves as above the law, and because of their connections, because of the way our system is, see how much we pay the police. How much can you bribe a police officer today? It's easy to give money to a police officer and tell him to look the other way, then I let go. And when he thinks of how much money he gets, so it's so easy for politicians, especially those that have tested the authority before, to lure people, or rather to deceive people, and to run away from justice. So it means that our system is very weak. Our officers, they are not professionally handling these matters properly. And it's true, I really anticipate as well that there will be more escape from Zambia. There will be more politicians that are facing the law, that are facing court proceedings, especially when they know that their cases are coming to conclusions, and they know that they are losing. These are people that you see that they will just jump on a plane, or rather escape the country. Watch Totela, watch what's his name, the other man, the other person, even this Nakachinda. Watch their pace. These are guys who are ready to flee anytime. Once the court makes those pronouncements, they will go, because Xavier Chungu during MMD opened the way, and it's now a political game. Even these guys who are currently in the offices, that's why they are making sure that this department, this area, it's weak, so that if they are visited as well by the next generation, by the Venezuela, when they come into power, they will also escape. They will also use the same system, because they know they are creating this system to be weaker, so that they too will use the same to escape from justice. So that's why I think we are losing more confidence in our officers, our correction officers, our judiciary. There's a lot of questions that we need to that begs to be answered, because our system is really weak. It's been taken for a ride. Politicians can just do whatever they want. They can act. They
Okay.
can do their
Uh,
drama.
all right. Let me also come to Himba for the very first time this evening. Himba, uh, who do you think is answerable for this? Because I think if you look at the circumstances surrounding this particular issue and what is coming out of it right now, looks like politics are at play, and now some sections of society seem to be blaming the police and actually uh, convinced that the police have actually done something to JJ in this particular case. Now, who is answerable for this particular ordeal, in your own opinion?
Thank you so much, comrade. First and foremost, may I render my apology to our viewers that I'm unable to be on camera because of the place where I am. However, what is important is that we are here to discuss the matters that affect us as a nation. In the first place, who is to blame for the situation we are in today as a country? For me, the person to blame is the government. Why do I say so? JJ Banda was admitted at Mainasoko. In the first place, the issue around JJ Banda, it's a very critical and very sensitive and with national interest. Why was he taken to Chipata? Secondly, JJ was never sick. And this is seriously organized crime, properly organized. JJ was never sick, and whatever transpired the other day, it was a well-planned move. And we've been preaching that the PF, they're a gang of thugs. PF, it has never been a genuine political party. It's a party with hidden agenda. And for them, their mind, it's always ahead in a criminal way. So basically, the government was negligence over this issue. In the first place, which is the better hospital, the Chipata General Hospital or Mainasoko? I don't know. Which is more secured? I would assume that Mainasoko is more secured than Chipata General Hospital. And knowing the issue around JJ, I think JJ would have even received better medical care at Mainasoko. Then he was trying, when I was thinking Ishiaka JJ, it reminded me when we were growing up, grandma used to tell us a story, Luluka, ati abaana nkwe baleeyimba efishima nga baayimba kakalulu tekaleeyimba but kaleefa okunwamu amenshi. Then this day they caught the kalulu and the kalulu said, msanimenyere pamalibwe, mkanimenyera pamalibwe sinzafa mnipeleke pasandi. And they took this kalulu to sand. Kaisa ababika sandi mumenswero kabutuka. That's the same concept which I thought of JJ did. The PF, JJ is not dead. JJ was not kidnapped. JJ is not in the hands of the government. His fellow crooked people, they've confirmed, Chirufya Tayari has confirmed that JJ is out of the country and JJ is alive and he's fit and he's willing to fight back. I think the only issue that has costed the Zambian people and especially the UPND government is the statement of we are all Zambians. Because some people, they've been embraced to harm Zambians. JJ is a criminal. JJ knows why he's running away, and the government should have been more strict on him. I submit.
All right. Thank you so much for that submission. Let me throw the same question to Mr. Daniel Zulu. Um Looking at the circumstances that are surrounding all this ordeal, I think maybe you can share with us where you place the blame and who should have done better to avoid this particular situation.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Rollins. And allow me to just enlighten my colleague, Sister Himba. The reason why JJ was transferred to Chipata was to be arrested
Oh, thank you, because the
sued
complainant was
for his
there.
arrest. The person
Oh, thank you so much.
sued for JJ's arrest is Chipata based. The crime that is committed in the Eastern Province, and the highest court in the Eastern Province is yes, the complainant is from Eastern Province, Sinda. No, Vubwi, not Sinda, Vubwi. And
All right.
I'll be
I'm not sure if everyone else can get what Mr. Daniel is saying, or is it my connectivity?
Is
But
breaking. Mr. Daniel, you are breaking. I don't know whether it's your network.
we cannot get what you are saying, sir. Not sure if your network is okay, but are you able to get us?
Loud and clear.
Okay, let me ask you, Mr. Daniel, to just send a message on that chat button and let us know when your connectivity is all right so that we can get back to you. In the meantime, let's welcome Mr. Clifford Daniel Chunga Sampa, who has just joined us. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Awesome. We are looking at the escape from hospital that just took place, uh, uh, and we are trying to digest exactly circumstances that are surrounding that particular escape. And we want to hear from you as well. What do you make of this in general?
Actually, what I can say is, I think the escape of JJ is because of the security. Because we are told that was escorted by about 5 security officers, 2 from Zambia Police and 3 from correction center. Now, that how can a man escape from those hands? That is the big question, which because I don't know, because it's more like a magic or something which has been planned by the same people who were given authority to take care of JJ. I think that's what I can say as for now.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Clifford. I'll bring in you, Mr. Wiseman, here. Uh, Now, in everything that is happening and everything that has transpired, we can safely say that looking at and what another person living in exile in Mr. Chilufya Tayali has said on Facebook to say Mr. Banda is actually out of the country. And for some time now, people like Chilufya Tayali have been painting a bad image on the judiciary, stating that it has been compromised. And so they don't wish to stand and face trial in a judiciary that they believe is compromised. And when you look at the number of people who are running away from the same judicial system, uh, going up by the day, uh, what kind of an image is this painting on the about on Zambia to the international community?
Okay, thank you very much, comrade. I think the image which is being painted to the international community about what is happening is that our judicial system is not equal to the task, and this is only coming out because of trying to treat these notorious patriotic front members with kids' gloves, thinking that you can become relatives when they are thinking evil about the nation. The people who are in charge of the nation, they are treating them with kids' gloves. Because if you could see the judicial under UPND, it is not even compromised. It is here in Kabwe where I am, where a councillor was sentenced for stealing 7 bags of cement. A UPND councillor sentenced to 9 months. 9 months in prison. 7 bags of cement. Which compromised judicial can do that? Under PF, could you see a PF councillor being sentenced? It's impossible. So anything which happens against the PF, it is all seen that it is a compromised judicial. Anything which happened against UPND, no one is commenting about it. So it is all the lenience of our party, our system. You cannot change a mindset of a human being within a blink of an eye. But our president, it seems like he really wanted to change the mindset of Zambians within 5 years. Of that, this is now what is costing us. Kaiser Zulu escaped. Chilifa Tayari has gone. We have seen so many PF guys who were insulting and trying to provoke the system. They are not in Zambia. They are hoping that they can come back in 2026. So if someone like JJ can escape in that manner, can show you that criminality mindset, what else do you expect? That which we saw in America on the Donald Trump rally, it was planned by a human being. That can even be planned even here in Zambia. So we need our security system to be too much alert about what these people are thinking. 2026 election, comrade, it is something which people, they want to get it hook or crook. So signs have such seen. Our judicial system is not compromised, but the picture, it has been painted that our judicial system is collapsed. It has collapsed and it is not even standing anywhere because of what? Our kindness. Thank you very much.
Okay, hopefully, Mr. Daniel Zulu can now talk to us. And I was asking you where you place the blame for what has transpired. Hope you can now give us an answer,
Okay, thank you. Are you able to get me?
loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. As where I place the blame, like I told you, this case has overstayed. This case has been in the hands of the state from the day Jay was found. Jay was found, taken to Maina Soko. We have experts on the panel that are saying he was certified fit by Maina Soko. How can he then be sick? I don't know what science falls around that, but he was actually a doctor performed a surgical operation on him recently before the so-called mysterious escape. There was a surgical operation that was performed on him, and the doctor, certified doctor, performed that. And no doctor would perform a surgery unless they have reason to believe that the person needs a surgery, because that's against their practice. Okay, so the whole blame falls on the government and our judicial system. Remember, this case has been to court. it has been tried. They brought it before the Supreme Court or the High Court of Chipata. They brought it before the court. The defense had applied to say we need to go through the documentation that was submitted regarding this case, because the person who's suing had sued JJ over the same case, and it was determined by a court, yeah, where JJ was fined, was told to pay a certain amount with regards to the offense that he had committed. Back then, the defense had applied to say we need to go through what you've presented as what as a charge, as a case charge, so that we determine whether this case is the same case that was earlier tried by a court or not. The problem is, I'll borrow the late Michael Sata's words. UPND politically are still under fives, even if they are in government. They are still under fives. I believe they do not understand the political waves around Zambia, because you are trying to play by the book. A political case is dealt with politically. If they felt JJ had an issue to answer, try it quickly, because the more you delay, the more he finds ways of getting out. That man is an Easterner. Most of his time, he spends his time in Chipata. He knows almost a whole lot of people in Chipata, including the people in these offices. You can't bring him in his playground and you start playing the waiting game to see what. If you have evidence to say this guy committed this offense and he needs to be punished, bring him to book. Okay, you wait for a long time, and I don't know why we still have the courage to still say he has escaped, because what if he hasn't? What if he hasn't escaped? Remember, he disappeared once for like 3 days, and when he resurfaced, he called out people within the government and said, these are the people responsible for my disappearance. What if we are talking about the same case here? What if he hasn't escaped? What if he has been taken? What if he has been made to disappear? So there are a whole lot of issues that are surrounding this case, and the only people to blame are the people in charge of governing this country. We can't blame people that are in opposition. How do you blame the PF for what? What are you going to blame the PF for? Because the PF didn't put JJ behind bars. If you put me behind bars, who's supposed to charge me? Who's supposed to arrest me? Who's supposed to make sure that I go before a court, that I'm charged, that I'm sentenced? Who's supposed to make sure that that happens? Is it the opposition? Is it the people that are not in government, or it is the people that are governing? Why would you blame the opposition for what? You delayed. You created a loophole for such things to happen, and then you go back and you start blaming the people that you are castigating. No, that's incompetence. You've been incompetent in dealing with the health sector. You've been incompetent in dealing with the agriculture sector. You are now incompetent with dealing with the institutions of what? Of the judicial institutions. Why should you blame the people that you are governing? Huh? Thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Is Himba still with us?
Yes, please.
Okay. Himba, you've heard the submission that Zulu has put across. To some extent, uh, these are the same sentiments that you shared earlier on who you might place the blame on concerning this sudden disappearance of Honorable J.J. Banda. Now, looking at the fact that he has disappeared, and about if he has escaped, or if the powers that be are behind his disappearance, is also a question for that begs an answer. But we look at it as he is disappeared. What next then? Because we look at people who have been arrested. It's police officers. Why is the wife who was present at the time scot free?
In the first place, why were they even allowed to be the two of them? Yes, we are talking about human rights, that probably he's got the right to privacy. But as we've seen, that room had no background. If that picture we've seen, even to keep him for medical treatment, a person with a case of a high profile like JJ's case, that place was the wrong place for me to be in that room. That was wrong because that room did not even have the background, but it was not secured for such a person. And me, there are words which I don't want to use. I don't want to call him honorable. I think for me, he doesn't deserve to be called honorable. I think as we are going, Kunta and Shitulea, let us, the people whom we send to parliament, let their character be one of the things we should look at. JJ Banda was never honorable to me because even at the time, before he got into parliament, he had issues. And from the time he's been to parliament, what thing can we point that JJ has done in parliament? It's just so sad that these are the leaders of our generation. And how can we have leaders as JJ for our generation? And these are the people who are supposed to take over from this regime we have for President HH, President, former President Edgar Lungu. These are the people who could look up to and say, okay, they'll take over. But this is a disgrace we have. So words like honorable, me, I don't want to use it. One. Secondly, I don't want to say he has escaped. He didn't escape. For me, and his fellow friend, Tayali has confirmed. He has said he's been talking. As I said earlier on, Tayali was online, although we can say he's not, we can't really depend on him, but we know that Tayali work hand in hand with these people. So he has confirmed that JJ has left the country. And he has said, stop saying it's the government or he's run away. He hasn't like escaped whatever. That this was an organized crime, very organized. And why I'm even doubting his illness. Umuntu wafumine operation teta atoloka okufuma pamulu palya. If he really had an operation, and we are talking of his kind of disease he had, he can't jump from where he jumped from. Or even if I remember, okay, when we were young, to Muma flats, you would use the Ariama Poya Kunma to get down in the like, but you can't because you have to lift your legs going up and the like. So if JJ was in the position that he was from an operation, he had stitches, how did he manage to come down? So this is a serious organized thing, and where the government needs to sit
But
up.
that question that you're asking, does it also support the other narrative that that seems to suggest that the state is actually behind his disappearance?
I it's very difficult for me to agree on that narrative. Again, we have to have a benefit of that, but I'm not that narrative for me, it's a no. Because JJ, we know who he is. Where I'm blaming the government is the way they've handled the matter. I think I agree with Comrade Zuru. The way this matter has been handled, for me, it doesn't make sense. Umuntu aliran that aliba abducted. Why has his case taken so long? Anyway, to and that he was sick. But even when he was sick, it doesn't justify all these things. You know, JJ's issue, it should have been handled differently. And this is what we are saying. If the government, they are saying we've got a lot of people who are corrupt. We've got a lot of people that we've got a lot of people who are corrupt in the system. The former leaders are corrupt. Can we have them face the law? What are we waiting for? This is almost like 3 years down the line. Abantu batampa okubutuka baleebutuka. And to make matters worse, we all know that by PF, they've got money. They will be running away. They will be running away. If they are running away, then something is wrong with the government, with the governing party. What is wrong? Where are we going wrong as a government? Where is the problem? So basically, for me, the narrative that he escaped, he didn't. JJ maybe
Okay.
alienda fye bwino kufuma mulya mu kipatala bwino as Comrade Zulu has said kweba tumwatwala omuntu kumwabo where he knows all the corners. He knows all the corners, and even his situation, the security would have been more tight than what he had. So for me, he's not honorable. He doesn't qualify, and his case, there's
Okay.
nothing like he escaped. No.
Thank you so much for that. Let me bring in Mukelabai. police have so far confirmed they have launched a manhunt. But when you look at the history of their manhunts, we have Kaiser Zulu, who has been for whom they launched a manhunt a long time ago, and in fact, for Comrade Zulu, not the Zulu that we have, but we're talking about Kaiser Zulu. For Comrade Kaiser Zulu, we even saw a video at some point which confirmed that he is actually in Zimbabwe and has not been well. So we're looking at someone who is also sick, being able to elude this so-called manhunt for him. We have a manhunt for Chilufya Tayali, which has not beared any fruits, you can say. And the only person probably they managed to bring back home was Honorable Chimba Kambwili, who also had to surrender for some reasons, for some health reasons as well. But how confident are you in this so-called manhunt, and if they are able to even find the missing Honorable JJ Banda?
Thank you so much. The police have to up their game, and they have to prove to the people that they are that people should still have confidence in them if they could bring all these fugitives back or arrest them. If we can recover a helicopter, the choppers that were hidden somewhere, imagine what we can do to a human being. And moreover, these human beings, they're even on air, busy exposing themselves. We can even locate even a young boy from grade 8, or a child that has done coding can actually allocate using Google Maps, can locate the video live, whatever the location of a fugitive in Zimbabwe or in South Africa. They can easily find them. But the thing is, it's a political will that we don't have. Our officers, probably they are busy looking at what is important, because it takes money, also finances, to investigate, to send some officers to go and bring these fugitives. And also you have to look at the relationship that this country cannot just go into another country and effect an arrest. They have to have a good cordial relationship between the two states. But if you have a very unstable relationship, definitely the other country will be harboring most of the criminals and not allowing good further investigations or other officers from the other country to come and effect an arrest. You saw there were some videos, I don't know whether it was propaganda, where the Zimbabwean president spoke about Zambian with America, with you remember that incident, and there was a little bit of friction there. You saw how President Mnangagwa has been associating so much with the previous our former president Edgar Changwa, and you see the relationship is there's a little bit of uh, despite the good relationship that we have with Zimbabwe, but you can tell that there's a small there's an issue there between our president, our Zambian president, and the Zimbabwean president. Hence, you find that most of our fugitives that are escaping this country, which country is the next they used to escape? And once they are in that country, why is it so difficult for our officers to work in collaboration with the officers from the other country to bring these criminal suspects? So it's a catch-22, and we cannot go much into details because these are issues that hinges on national security. We could leave this to the nation, but we need to also look at the issue of JJ Banda. Currently, I have told you before, and I'll say it again. This is just drama. I'm not very convinced. I'm not convinced that this issue of Banda really happens, or he was sick, or he was abducted, he's now escaped. Is, all this, it does not make sense, and anything that doesn't make sense, it's not true. That's my principle. Banda, if he was sued by the person he wronged, or he criminally whatever, if he was sued in a civil suit, that does not exonerate him from being prosecuted in a criminal way. But if he was found guilty in a criminal case at the time, the court cannot, or the police cannot, charge him again over the same crime. Those are the rules of the game. And unless there was a discharge, a nolle prosequi was entered, where you can be rearrested and charged for ponit, or ponit, it means anew, or from the beginning. So you can continue, like Mumbi, Piri. If the government wants, they can go and rearrest. If they come up with proper evidence, they can go and rearrest her, because there was a nolle that was entered. So in this case, in JJ Banda, if he was prosecuted, not sued in a civil suit, and paid compensation to that individual, well, that's the civil matter. That's okay. He can go ahead and do that. But that does not stop the police to prosecute or to pursue the matter, the criminal aspect, the aggravated robbery part, or whatever charges they may have given him. But the only problem that I have is, let us stick to the reports given by our government right now, because that's the only official report that we have. Let's listen to the government, not these innuendos and the rumors or assumptions we keep on making. So what is the current statement that we have right now? Is that the gentleman is no longer under police custody. And when you are under police custody, who is in charge of you? Is the state, the police, or the correctional officers? So these are the people that we are going to look at and point a finger at. How could you allow a prisoner escape? How could you allow, how were you not, why didn't you secure this prisoner? The JJ Banda ought to have been put in handcuffs against the bed. And they're supposed to have been, they should have had guards 24/7 guarding him with guns in case of escape. But that was not done. Who is responsible for that? And who is giving us the report that this gentleman is no longer with the government, is no longer under the state's custody? It's the government itself. So who do we point a finger at?
I'll have to catch you short on that one. Thank you so much for your submission. And I believe Mr. Zulu wants to say something concerning the same statement. Mr. Zulu, please come in.
Okay, thank you very much. Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. As Mukelabai was submitting, that was a powerful submission, sir. There are a few details within the JJ's case that will show that there is a lot of state control in what's happening than an individual's. So, for example, I'll give you this, and I'll just hit on the flame because I won't go into details with it. Rest I be cited for contempt. But the person that sued JJ in this case is the journalist. This is the famous journalist that we all refer to. No, the same journalist that was urinated in the mouth. Apparently, that issue of the journalist being urinated in the mouth is only, everyone knows it apart from the journalist himself, because he was asked about it and he said nothing of that sort happened. So, in the first place, when the case happened, the man sued him, taken to court, and then what was presented in the charge was one, assault, to theft, assault of what he went through physically. He was beaten. That's where the assault came in. Theft was of the money that he lost, the ATM and the cash that he had lost, and some cameras that he had lost. Now, when it was presented before the court, same case, same person, theft was changed to attempted, is it what? Aggravated robbery. Assault to attempted murder. Okay? So I'll end it there. I won't go into details. But there is a whole lot of state involvement in this, which makes me question. I remember the last interaction that we had where when he disappeared, we were talking about his disappearance. Between the time we had that discussion and today, there has been a whole lot of revelations that have come on board that have happened. And I don't understand where we've placed the UPND government on this pedestal of do no evil or see no evil. We are failing to hold our government accountable because we believe that these guys can't do any wrong. Okay? We believe that these guys are pure angels. Individuals were mentioned, individuals that are closer to the president. If we were patriotic for our nation, we could have called for the either the firing or something. Those that are close to the presidency is supposed to be protected. You know, the president is you are not supposed to mar the president with debt. You know, where people that are close to him, people that are working with him, are cited, are mentioned in a criminal case of abduction. We would have hoped to see serious work being done there. We would have hoped to see people being investigated, people being fired, people being, suspended, so that this investigation can take place. It never happened. We saw PSCs going into JJ's hospital and trying to strike a deal. Drop down your statement and we will do this. That recording came out and nothing happened. We had another one where a minister was also told about who's responsible and what happened, and nothing happened. All we had were press briefings. This PS is holding a press briefing, this minister is holding a press briefing, discrediting everything that has happened. And we as a nation sat down on our hands and were quiet about the issue. A whole lot of things are happening, and we are creating a narrative that the UPND can't do any evil. Believe you me, comrades, at the state that we are at, PF were just preschoolers as compared to what the UPND is currently doing. We heard of, containers of medicine being packed at somebody's. No one is talking about it. We made noise about, these defective condoms that were given by, who's this guy? Honey Bee. We made noise about Honey Bee. We made noise about those things. Worth $65 million, containers of that worth kept at somebody's warehouse until they got defunct. And we are quiet. Nothing. The worst that happened was a minister being transferred from health to lands. We've put them at that pedestal, and that is not healthy for a nation. A good people, a patriotic people, are people that are able to call a spade a spade. People that are able to say, this is wrong, regardless of the regalia that I'm putting on, regardless of the symbols that I'm flashing, whether I'm flashing a forward symbol or a fist, regardless of that, regardless of the chants that I'm chanting, this is wrong. Someone was saying our judiciary has not been compromised. If there is any compromise, I can tell you for a fact, our judicial system has been compromised to the core. The judiciary in this nation is rotten. Was it yesterday when I was reading of, Martha Mushimpe's, compensation everyone is being compensated, millions and millions being dashed out by the same judiciary over flimsy cases. So, as a nation, let's wake up. Before we know it, this current, administration that we are calling angels will run this nation into its mud and will be there left without anything to do. What's wrong is wrong.
Okay.
There is a hand of the state in this case, but we just don't know what their motive is. Thank you very much, Comrade Lawrence.
Thank you so much. Let me cross over to Mr. Wiseman. So much has been said by Mr. Zulu and also Mukelabai, and it it leaves you as a young person with quite a number of questions. But one of them I'll ask you and probably ask for an answer from you on is uh, how comfortable are you when you read that people who are supposed to be brought to book were supposed to appear before a judge for doing this or that are just going scot-free uh, by just traveling out of the country or leaving the country just like that, and which looks like it's very easy now. How comfortable are you as a young person who demands for answers on things that you have heard? You have heard that JJ did this, JJ did that. You have heard that Tali did this and did that. And as things stand, everybody is innocent until proven guilty by a judge. And these who are leaving the country will remain innocent as long as no one is bringing them to face a judge.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade. Just to retaliate a bit to my comrade, Mr. Zulu, as he did to Mr. Mukelabai, when he says the judiciary has been compromised, under which government? Because under UPND, I have not seen any compromise. If there is a compromised judiciary under UPND, 90% of PF members by now could have been behind bars. But if you can have a judiciary which are sentencing UPND members than the opposition, I don't know where there is compromise about that. Under the law, it is by the law that if you have been detained, unlawful detention, you are entitled for compensation. It's just that in Zambia and in Africa, the richer gets more justice than the poor. Even as poor people, if we had such kind of a system in our brain, I'm sure by now would have been compensated. So those money which those guys have been compensated by law, they are entitled. It's not that they are making the law within themselves for them to be compensated. Coming to your question, comrade, I'm feeling like I've been undressed when I'm seeing such kind of things happening in my country. And the only thing which is causing that is because some of the leaders we have, they are thinking like they have got wisdom of monopoly. They know it all. When you are dealing with people who feel like I know it all, I know everything, I can't be advised, that's the problem. Me, on this same platform, I condemned President Hakainde Hichilema when he transferred Sylvia Masevo to another ministry, because when we were in opposition, my president, he was on record castigating ECL to say transferring a problematic minister is transferring problems. So seeing it start happening in my government, I felt disappointed. But am I disappointed to the fullest? I think no. When my comrade says containers were packed in a private place until that medicine uh yaonaika, I don't think so fairly because that medicine, as we are talking now, they are being offloaded in hospitals. They were not expired, nothing else. That was a corruption happening in that ministry, which it was, I think, it only collects for that minister to be fired, directors to be fired. Currently, if you have observed, comrade, in Zambia, we don't have the ACC board, and we are still waiting up to now. So who is fighting corruption in Zambia? So we have got a lot of loopholes which is happening, which is leading now to what is happening under judicial, where now as a case will be just adijani until someone escape. Because of what? The system is not with us. The system is still remaining the system of old system. So we will do whatever we want to do, nothing is going to be achieved because the system is not with us. The PF managed to run the country because SATA cleaned the system. Even when Lungu came into power, Lungu never stayed with the leadership of SATA. He cleaned the leadership of PF, even when he was PF. But have we done that ourselves? No. We are realizing that now, when it is too late. 3 years in office, remaining with 1 year some months. So I'm not at peace when I'm seeing such kind of things happening, comrade, and it is giving a lot of goosebumps to some of us who are young people who are trying to push ourselves into politics to see what type of politics is happening in Zambia. It's very risky. Even us talking like this, coming up clear like this, who knows? Tomorrow you will just hear that Wiseman has been shot because of this. It is happening in Zambia, where a IB director can be shot just like that and life continues. It's very scary, and I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, comrade.
All right. Thank you so much. Himba, c- coming back to you, we are in a place where uh, there seems to be so much compromise in terms of security. Um, the PF started a project where they were installing cameras around the city of Lusaka and all the other city, the major cities in the country, and the whole purpose of doing that was to ensure that some of these things are easy to trace. You remember the abduction. If we have cameras, it's easy to tell there is a vehicle that passed here, the vehicle comes from there, the vehicle is heading this direction, and it's easy to follow it up. We had comrade Tawo Kawana on this particular platform, where we had asked him, some that was I think some time back, we had asked him to say how far with that project, and he said, well, that project is mad with corruption, and uh, looks like the current regime was not interested in uh, completing that particular project to the fullest. Here we are now. We have a whole a whole MP disappearing from hospital, and if we had that particular system in place, would be easy to even know how the person moved if they really moved from hospital. So should we carry on this trajectory where we live in the past when we have this project that was called the smart the smart Zambia project, which is now seemingly defunct?
Thank you so much, Comrade Rollins. In the first place, the issue of the cameras in our country, it will not even be effective to that extent which you've explained, because that project, it's a very massive project, and it works hand in hand with internet. And if you look at even the current situation in our country, if we talk about internet, and it also work hand in hand, where you have proper how can I say it, where you have proper seat planning. So for now, even if we have it, it will just be in other areas, and maybe these are areas that are like Makablonga, Muma Riverside, such kind of areas. Because if we talk about those cameras, kuchibolya kulibema cameras, muchilenje mlibema cameras.
They had installed those cameras in all public places, regardless of the area. Even you go to Chivolia, at least in the markets, in the hospitals there, they have those cameras. And Chipata actually should have those cameras even at the hospital.
The As I said, though that project needs massive investment, I'm sure even at the moment in other areas they are working very effective, in other areas are not working effective. However, our point of discussion today, Lawrence, it's about JJ. And I've picked one or two issues from there where my fellow comrade has mentioned that the judiciary system is compromised. The judiciary system has not been compromised now. It has been compromised from way back. And I'll say this without shame. The PF government, I'm not doing the blame game, and I'm not portioning the blame here. The PF government really destroyed the mindset of the Zambian people. And if we want to see development in our country, we have to start with the mindset of the Zambian people. Many of us as Zambian people, our mindset has to change. The loyalty we have towards people or towards these political parties, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be the loyalty we have should be channeled towards the Zambian constitution. And if it was like that, a lot of things were not going to be like this. The problem we have is that people worship these politicians. Because even now, because this journalist, because he's not a politician, this journalist, because he comes from a background where he's not influential. I've seen him on record currently when he was saying the way I've seen him on I've seen him on a recording, on a video where he was saying he was not happy the way the issue ended. But during that time when that incident happened, do you think this journalist would have won this case? He was not going to do it. So he's fighting for justice. But if you look at the noise which is happening right now, most of the people are singing songs of praise to JJ today. Even when JJ was able to go into the police station and misbehave, in other countries, such a thing can't happen. It can't. But in Zambia, we tolerate such and we clap for such people. And this is what has made our country to be where we are. If we can be patriotic Zambians, despite of our political affiliation, despite of who we are, when it comes to a situation, we look at it as it comes, and our royalty belongs to the constitution of Zambia. It should have been a different situation. We've heard our friends, they would say, you can't kill an American on American soil. You can't kill a Briton on the British soil. That's their language. How many of us in Zambia would ever speak like that? If anything, even when a woman was undressed during the PF, other people would be clapping. Even when a woman was being assaulted, people would be clapping. In other countries, you'll be told you don't treat a woman like that. You can't kill an indigenous citizen of that country. They will rise right now. If you go to Britain, there's riot countrywide. If you think I'm joking, check what is happening in Britain right now. People are demonstrating because the 3 children who were knifed by a young boy, 17 years, and people are saying that can't happen on a British soil. How many of us Zambians would take up that position? Would even support the political leaders even when they are wrong, just because I belong to this party. The moment we are going to change our mind, despite me being a UPND sympathizer or UPND member, when one of our leaders has gone wrong, let's condemn it. But that's not the situation. In the PF government, if we look or we think critically, how many people were assaulted? How many people received justice in the PF government? So if the system has been compromised, it has not been compromised now. It has been compromised from way back. And as long if the system has been compromised, even those in positions, their mindset is nichekereko, nijeko kangono, I should impress this one because they've got a
Himba,
fat pocket.
let me let me bring in Mukelabai. Mukelabai, how ironic is it that this particular journalist, let's look at the case. This particular journalist sued way back, won the case, and has been quiet, received the compensation that was administered to him by the courts, enjoyed it in peace, uh, then waits all these years, um, comes back after uh, that particular abduction issue. Then this case suddenly reappears and is in court. And if you remember, the president is also on record. He mentioned to say those who even went to Lusaka Central and beat up police officers. Uh, the president demanded that that case should also be reopened. Now, all these things are happening after that abduction issue, where he also mentioned some people close to the presidency. as perpetrators of that act. Doesn't that really surprise all of us? Because if the so-called journalist was scared of PF times, did he have to wait 3 years after PF left office for him to reopen this particular case? I mean, the president, if he was so interested in this particular case of Honorable J.J. Banda beating up police officers at Lusaka Central, did he have to wait 3 years plus up to the time when he resurfaces from a purported abduction and mentioned the people close to the presidency for him to say he wanted that case reopened?
Thank you so much. You know, in Zambia, it will take time for us to really be able to investigate matters and be able to come out with proper facts. You know, we allow propaganda to take charge, to even spearhead and help us in or make even conclusions in any given situation when there are real facts. You know, propaganda has taken over. Propaganda meaning ubufi, propaganda wufi. When we talk about propaganda, is people creating stories within their head that fits the narrative. That's what people are holding on to. And we want to spread. That's the news that we go with. And we are living the fact. And when we go to these institutions and ask for reports, and when we hear the truth, we don't want to hold on to that. We want to come up with the things that makes us believe or that makes sense to us, and we don't want to have to understand the facts. So I don't know how we are going to proceed in our nation with the truthfulness, a nation that is called a Christian nation, full of lies everywhere. There's no and the sources of our information is so pathetic. We believe anyone that moves the lips, for as long as they speak loudest or they say things that are no. Let's learn to investigate. Let's learn to have facts, statistics, and then come up with our conclusions. This issue of the journalist that he sued, whether he sued and was compensated, that's his baby. We have the laws in Zambia. Criminal cases. Do criminal cases have the limitation of time limit? They don't. A criminal case once committed today, you can be rearrested 200 years from now, even posthumously, if there was a need. But with civil cases have statute limitation. Wakongolera munzako lero ndrama, after 10 years sungaende wati nipase ndrama zija bazakukanira. But these are things that we need to know in Zambia, but we don't. Instead, we want to hold on to propaganda. Why is this case coming back? Why is this case coming back? Was this matter resolved in a criminal matter? Has it been taken to court? Was it exposed? Was the person acquitted? No. So if they start the case today, or if the docket was there hanging somewhere and it is taken back, and what is that? Is that wrong? We have seen in Zambia where politicians have taken charge.
The question arises, why does it have to be the president to instruct police to reopen the case and not police reopen the case based on facts?
He is the president, the head of state. He enjoys that privilege. It's not an abuse. It's not an abuse. He's the command, is the what? How do you call him? The chief, commanding chief of the heads of the armed forces, including the police. Those falls under his jurisdiction. He can simply instruct anyone, just the way you and me can instruct our own children. If you are a person in the company, you can also do the same. If you have a person that you hate and you know he committed a crime, and that crime was being shielded by the previous people, and you have come in and you have the authority now, that's not an abuse. You are using your powers. That's why you find the presidents have even powers to pardon criminals. They exercise that privilege that they are given. That's the power. That's the law we gave them. Which is enshrined from a constitution. Change that law, then we can talk about Hakainde Chidema instructing. Who do you want him to instruct? He goes and instruct Maneses or Machan. He is the head of state. If he has seen the need and he knows that there's this chap committed heinous crime and is left to be hanging everywhere, walking majestically, when there's a case and he's been briefed. Why not? Why not? It's only in you in Zambia where you want to now start condemning and say he's abusing his authorities. That's not wrong. He is right. He is within he's exercising his power. Like just the way he directed everyone. No cadalism. It is his mandate. He used his power that we gave him. Same as Lungu also did the same thing when he was exercising his power to not to prosecute his ministers that are busy under investigation. He uses his prerogative to either suspend or dismiss or reshuffle. It's his right. And we should not question him because it's his power that we gave him. If we want to question him, challenge him, let's take him to court or let's go to parliament and revoke that law so that we can now put him to task. If in you today, if you are put to be a president and I did something wrong to you 5 years ago, I killed you or whatever, and then because before somebody that was in power was favoring you, then they're favoring me, then now you come into power and you have the right. It's just a normal thing. It's the human thing to do. As human beings, we also thrive through either trying to teach other people's lessons or revenge. Even though we don't want to show it in black and white, we'll do it using the statutes that were given to us. That's
Right.
not sugar.
Thank you so much for that.
So
Mr.
just
Zulu,
take
let me
that.
bring you.
Just put that in your heads that the president has the right to instruct the police or the army or anyone that is under him.
All right. Let me bring in Mr. Zulu, and then please let's also start concluding so that we can put this particular topic to rest. Mr. Zulu, you can come in.
Thank you very much. Listening to Mukelabai just cements the narrative that is going around to say our president is on a revenge trail. I'll give you a bit of brief history regarding this relationship. When the particular journalist, the same journalist that took the matter to court, when he was interviewed before he decided to resue, if we can call it that, Honorable JJ, when he was being interviewed, they said he decided to do that because he's still
Mr. Zulu, I'm certain we have lost you. Or is anybody else able to hear what Mr. Zulu is saying?
No, we can't hear him. And
No, we
and
can't
and
hear
just
him.
to help out, there's nothing like Risu in. I know I know what he meant. If the case was never in court and he decides to take up the case in court, he can sue at any time, at any given time, either civil or
yes,
if you want to go criminal way, then he can go through the criminal case through the state or apply to the DPP for private prosecution. You know these things. Thank you.
Hello?
Mr. Zulu, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was getting some feedback.
You can continue. You can go ahead with your submission.
Hello? The
Yeah,
Petauke
we can
Central
hear
Member of
you.
Parliament. Yeah, I was
Mr.
saying the relationship. Hello?
Go on, please. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I was having some network challenges there. So I'm saying the relationship between our president and the Petauke Central Member of Parliament after the 2021 general election seemed to had started off on a good pace, because we all thought and we all believed that JJ was frustrated with the PF, having been left out of the adoptions. And he had formed an organization for, I think it was called Easterners for Lungu or something. He was the chairperson of that organization. And after that massive campaign for ECL in the East, he was then left out. And then we all believed that JJ was going to be one of the people that is going to defect to the UPND. And we saw this in the interactions that were there. You find that JJ was sort of a darling. Whenever the president comes here, JJ would share, podium with him. JJ would drum up support for him. And then suddenly, that relationship sort of just went dark, like nothing was going on. And then the sentiment made by our president to say we are going to reopen the case of a thug that beat up police at Central Police. That case cannot be touched, because even the police themselves, when taking the matter to court, they said JJ never beat anyone. His charge was disorderly conduct. It is on record. It is at the police. It is in social media. The charge that JJ was given was disorderly conduct. He went there, by the way, for those of you that do not know, JJ's cousin was shot by C5 police in Petauke. And when he went there to inquire, he was told that that was mistaken identity. He wasn't the person that was supposed to be shot. They mistaken and shot him. JJ went there to get answers. It was Dola Siria, who was then competing with JJ for adoption in Petauke, that brought out the narrative that he is disorderly. He went and beat up police. When the police charged him, they charged him for disorderly conduct. He paid 150 kwacha for an offense of disorderly conduct, not assault. He never assaulted any police officer. So as Mukelabai said, we need to do our own digging, our own investigation. That information is before us. It is right it is right there for us to access. Let's do our reading, let's do our investigation. This whole thing now looks like a revenge trail. There is some form of bitterness that wants to be let out on an individual. And I can give you this for a fact. The person that the UPND are picking for Eastern Province Premier as chairperson of Eastern Province, when it comes to popularity, cannot stand toe to toe with JJ. For him to win the seat that he's currently holding as MP, he needed the help of the PF. It was actually a deal that was brokered by Eddie Galungu, sat the incumbent and him down to say, help your friend to campaign where he is. And that's the person that they want to bring as provincial chairperson. That's the person that they wanted to stand toe to toe, campaign against JJ, a thing that they cannot achieve. The person they are putting as provincial chairperson resides in Chipata. Even Chipata Central doesn't want to vote for him, can't even support him. So this is a political hula baloo that is happening, and there is nothing like the rule of law. The rule of law is just down the drain. This whole this whole thing, is political. And in conclusion, these are my personal sentiment. There is a quote that live to fight another day. If him being away means he'll be alive, he'll be strong, he'll be fit, he'll be healthy, let him be away. He will come and answer to those crimes because Mulandu Suola. But if him being away makes it possible for him to be healthy, JJ Mwana, if you are listening to this, stay where you are and be safe, and may God protect you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade. Comrade Lawrence, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Just to clarify that views that are expressed on this program do not represent the views of Ubuntu channel, and in as much as we trying to get as many views as possible, please, Mr. Zulu's statements don't necessarily represent what we believe as a channel, and therefore those are his own expressions, and we leave it at that. But Patricia, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Good evening. How are you?
I'm all right. Let's hear your thoughts on this particular subject.
Okay, my 2 cents is this. I feel the PF at this stage are becoming unprofessional and un-Zambian in the way they are handling this JJ issue. JJ was under security. He's escaped. Being a member of parliament for Eastern Province, this to me causes a by-election because he's run away. As it is, he's treated as a convict because he's run away. Because if you run away, you're alarming the nation. So why would the PF want to alarm the nation if JJ didn't do anything wrong? What the PF would have done was to find lawyers, let him be brought to court so that he answers the charges, whether true or false. Because internationally, this does not look well for the PF, because it looks like they'll be aiding all the criminals to escape. And things happen. God forbid, he's sick. Okay, he was in hospital. God forbid something happens to him. Maybe he won't take his medication. He doesn't have any doctors to attend to him. What happens? So, which means the PF really they don't care about the life of JJ. That's what I think. If I were the PF, I'd look for him, bring him to court, let him face the charges. Otherwise, there is a by-election looming.
Are you in any way telling us that for what has transpired, you actually blame the PF?
Well, I'm blaming the PF because JJ belongs to the PF party. That's why I'm putting the blame on the PF. And I'm also, why I blame the PF, because just when you look at all this scenario, the way it happened, first of all, he said he was abducted. Second, they said he wasn't abducted. Now we don't know what to believe. Those sentiments would not have come out from the PF. When you're put on the opposition, offer proper checks and balances. If they didn't come up to say he was abducted, he appears. Now we all don't know what's happening. Now what they're saying he's escaped. What if he comes back again and said, I didn't escape? What happens?
Okay, that's some food for thought there. Unfortunately, we are now coming to towards the end of the program, and we will be running our closing remarks. And let me give an opportunity to each and every one of us to just give in your final remarks towards this particular issue, so that we can close this particular interaction. Let me start with the lady Himba. Himba, you can go in first.
Thank you so much. For me, Ishiaka JJ, I still stand. JJ does not deserve to be called honorable. And the whole issue, I blame the UPND government that we have not been able to handle this matter the way it's supposed to be handled. And the PF, they've never been clean on anything. And whenever things, the way they handle things is just something complicated, they've got their own way of looking at things. And most of the times, the PF, they look at themselves. They don't even look at the Zambian people. However, JJ, wherever he is, he knows the truth, and the truth is between him and his God. The only question I'll leave with the public is if JJ is innocent and as he is receiving songs of praises from some Zambian citizen, why is he running away? Why can't he prove himself in court? If if he was really abducted, why can't he go to court and fight the battle in court? If whatever he's saying, he has all been accused, why is he running away? What is he running away from? I submit.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Wiseman. You can come in, sir, and present your closing remarks. Are you with us, Mr. Wiseman?
Yes, comrade. My network was tripping. Hopefully, you are able to get me.
We can now get you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think my concluding remarks for me is just to urge the European government to open up their eyes and to act professionalism. They are dealing with a gang which is very sophisticated in all angles. That's why even up to now they have failed to find them with cases of corruption. This is the gang which they are well trained. So before they start messing up themselves as a party and as a government, let them pull up the socks and let them do the right thing. A criminal is a criminal. Deal with him as a criminal. Don't deal with a criminal with kids' glove. No. They will come dressed like an angel, but what they are thinking inside them is something else. PF treat them as that. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mukelabai, please come in.
Okay, I thought you were going to save me for last. But anyway,
No, I'm actually saving Patricia for last because she's just from giving us some thoughts, so I'm saving her for last.
okay, that's okay. That's the power that you have, just like the president. Like I said, when you are the chairperson, you run the show, and it's not us to tell you how to run the show. You dictate even when to close the show. So this is the way even the country ought to be run, despite us having the three arms of government, which the executive is not supposed to interfere with the other. So as the executive, the president has all the right to deal with the people that are under him and give instructions for as long as those instructions are confined within the law, and cannot jump and start giving instructions to the judiciary or the parliamentarians, the legislatures, on what to do. He is dealing with what falls under him. So with regards to JJ, I don't even know why we are talking about him, because he's an MP. And just that's the reason why probably we're entertaining him and we are having him as a topic today. Otherwise, we have a lot of issues to talk about in the country that are taking place. A load shedding. People need money in their pockets. We need food, unga. JJ should be dealt by the police right now, because it's the police responsibility. They arrested him. He was under their custody. Had JJ died whilst under the police custody, it will be the police, the state, the Inspector General of Police, to be responsible for, or to be liable for, any cause of death or whatever happens to him. Even at this time, he decided to escape, and the police, the Minister of Home Affairs, has given a report to the Zambian people. And basing on the report given, we simply say, let the manhunt begin. Good luck with the police manhunt. But at the same time, you are the police that are responsible for the escape of this criminal suspect. Find him. Ngati mufuna timitandizeko, please let those other Zambians, well patriotic Zambians that are very willing to see justice being done, put up your resources together. Let's help the police to investigate and to find these guys. Imewali muma diaspora, all those that lives in the diaspora, we know you're interacting with these guys. Give the government a hint where this chap is. He will be picked and brought back and face the law. As simple as that. He cannot hide. You can run away, but you cannot hide. Your day will come. You've just created another problem on top of the small problem that you had. JJ, if you are listening, you are not going to be free. You are going to be looking over your head, even when you are busy nursing your wounds, or your freedom is now taken away. You can never be free. Even wherever you be, when you're sleeping, freedom, my brother, is such a glorious thing, precious. And for now, you've just taken that little freedom that you had. And anytime, any day, you'll be picked just the way Saddam was picked, just the way Gaddafi was picked. Remember that. Your day will come. Thank you.
All right. Let me bring in Mr. Zulu. Kindly give your concluding remarks.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lawrence. I can give a list of individuals that have run away from our police and haven't been picked until now. We have Pamela Gondo that disappeared with millions of Barclays bank money, and until today she hasn't been found. We have Kaiser Zulu. We have Chilfetag. If he leaves to fight another day, let JJ leave. That is what I'm going to say. I wouldn't want anyone to go through the kind of political barbaric torture that he was going through. Everyone has rights. Everyone has human rights, whether a criminal or not, no matter the label that we put on the man, but he has rights. He's a human being, for crying out loud. If he had a case to answer, why not do diligence the way things are supposed to be done according to procedure? When they requested to go through the document that was submitted, the DPP jumped in and superseded that issue. Instead of going through that procedure, and we can't call that the rule of law. That's manipulation of the law. So rest I decided. My closing remarks would be, wherever my man is, wherever JJ is, sanga ngati munimvwa neo kulikonse komulili malume.
All right. We don't want to sound like we are abating someone who is on the run as Ubuntu channel. I think I'll have to cut you short there. And Patricia, please, you can come in and give your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. We can all agree to disagree. Zambia is a democratic country. JJ was in hospital. There were no charges brought against him. Every citizen is free until proved guilty. JJ has escaped. To me, now he's guilty because he shouldn't have escaped. One, he's an MP, which is very sad. Being an MP of a country, you are regarded as above bar. You're honorable. So let the speaker declare that seat vacant because he's escaped, and now he's wasting government resources looking for him, which shouldn't be the case because Zambia is a free country. He shouldn't behave like he is in another country where we don't want him. No, it's wrong. Let's not put fear in the Zambians that were after JJ. Those are my closing remarks. Let that seat be vacant. For me, is no longer fit to be called an honorable MP. He's disappointed us. Thank you.
Okay. We also had some comments coming from Chisalachi, who said that's why you have three wings of the government and separation of power need to be exercised. He proceeds to say, in Zambia, as in most democratic countries, the president does not have the authority to directly instruct the police to open a criminal case against an individual. This principle is fundamental to the rule of law and the separation of powers. Here are some key points. One, independence of the judiciary and law enforcement. The police and the judiciary are meant to operate independently of political influence to ensure fair and impartial uh, administration of justice. Thank you so much for that particular comment, Mr. Chisala. On behalf of the entire production crew and everybody who is with us, we thank you, the viewers who have been with us from the time we started the program. And if you missed the program or maybe joined us late, you are free to just play this program back, which will be available on our YouTube page and Facebook page as well, where you can watch it at any time you feel like it. My name is Lawrence, and I've been hosting this particular edition of Let's Talk Politics. It's good night from all of us, and see you next week.